thank you guys for coming on the podcast. For those who don't know, if you click this link by accident and you're wondering what the fuck we're talking about, this is the A Better Way to a Podcast. And we are here with CBRN Art guys, the BR and Nathan.
Hello.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us, man.
Sorry, I'm spamming the chat.
That's
thank
okay.
you for
oh
having
my
us.
god, there's
Sidebar,
12
sidebar.
notifications. I had totally forgot that it was even there. We Andrew and I are on Signal, so like we
have
write
this
notes
chat
and
here,
stuff to
and
each
then we
other.
have a secret chat.
Oh, so
The
you guys have a
secret signal
sidebar
chat.
for the so you guys can be like, this is not going very well.
We've never. said
I've done that with Mitch before. We talked through Telegram. It's like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here?
No,
I didn't even think you meant that as a jab. I didn't take that at all.
Yeah, but still.
Nate. Jesus Christ, I'm ruined.
Nate,
Yeah.
I
Nathan's
just
like
meant there's,
apologizing profusely in the chat right now for saying that he thinks he'll be our only Asian listener because
Yes,
they
'cause it-
make up 2% of the population. I think that is implying that we have less than 50 people who listen to our podcast.
I was not. It had nothing to do with the amount of listeners. It meant there's precisely 0 Asian people. They don't exist. It's a lie.
Oh,
like
like
birds.
it's a conspiracy?
Yes.
Oh my god.
No, they're drones.
Fuck.
Like the birds?
Yes. No, the Asian people are a lie. They're sent. They are drones sent from the government to spy on you.
That's weird
Yes.
because we just had Yellow Peril Tactical on, and I could swear that they're pretty serious about Asian people.
Drone.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Are they feds?
Wait, did you say Asian people are drones?
Yeah,
Is that what you
Yes.
said? Oh,
Yeah,
for
they're-
some reason
they're
I
alive
thought
from
you were
the
talking.
government
Wow,
to,
I was
survey
reading
you.
something and definitely thought you were saying birds were drones because that's been my whole excuse for the lockdown is that they had to change the batteries on the birds.
Yes. No,
For
I
2
say
weeks,
this as
don't
an
go
Asian
outside.
person. I do not exist.
Wow. Okay, you heard it here first, guys.
I don't know what to do with this.
Man, we have to.
I don't know how BR edits our episodes, especially the solo ones. I genuinely don't know how you do it.
Like a surgeon. Is the answer to that.
Oh man.
I've
We,
got a guest that comes on for some of them, and he's done 2 now. But his personal goal is to make it, and I think it's because BR is of British origin, and my friend is Irish. He has a personal mission to make editing as hard as fucking possible.
Yeah, lots of threats against government officials, which I'm all about, but we can't be doing it on the show. Like,
Yeah, I should probably take heed of that and probably not include those bits in the actual.
it's
audio.
funnier when it's a bleep and you can fill in the blank for yourself, I feel.
Yes.
You're like,
Well, there's been a couple times where I've listened to yours and I've had to do that, and I've had no clue what the word is, and it makes it a mystery. And I look for context clues, and I can't figure it out. And it's a feature, not a bug, I'd say.
See, the main
I
thing
wonder-
is... Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, I wonder if we can make all of our Fed posting Patreon bonuses.
Nah,
There
that's
you
kind
go.
of what we do.
I mean, then at that point, if they want to prosecute you, someone's gonna have to pay you a Patreon to get the evidence, at which point, I don't know,
Yeah.
that's a little bit fishy on the government's part. Gonna be interesting in court.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The government is literally showing up to legal gun owners' homes right now without a warrant and asking to see their guns. So
I
it
saw
seems
that.
to me they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of waiting
This
on that
poor
the
guy.
entire time I've lived here. And
Yeah.
I'm one of the only, out of like kind of a big circle of people who've been on here posting spicy stuff for a few years. I haven't got a knock yet, and I'm like half insulted and obviously half relieved, but plenty of people have had the knock for like no fucking reason and had to talk to
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
some boring dude about
Like,
why
hey, did you
they're-
post this?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. What
Do
of
you
it?
think there's ever anybody? Do you think there's ever been somebody who's actually like rigged their property to play Fortunate Son when somebody rolls down the driveway and somebody driving in an ATF vehicle has heard that and thought like, wow, this is my day? Or is that just like
the memes.
Hold on. Hey Google, play Home Invasion.
Here you go.
It starts with that,
Okay.
and it doesn't work like 3/4 of the time. Yeah,
Gonna
it's
get
not
shot
working.
shouting at Alexa. I said play.
when we had
She's just
when
like,
we had Yellow
oh,
Peril
there. You can't hear it, but it is
I
playing
do
CCR.
hear some of it. Nice.
There you
When
go.
we had
Fortunate
Yellow
Son
Peril
plays faintly in the
Tactical on,
background.
Yeah. Hey Google, stop music. Thank you.
I'm glad
Be
I'm not
nice
the
to
only
your
one
robots.
who.
They'll rise up one day.
Yes, and they'll remember you.
My son has an affinity for machines. We introduced a Roomba to the household, and he became obsessed with it. And he believes it is a. I think he thinks it's a bug.
Huh?
I think he thinks it's a big bug, and
How
he
old
gets
is he?
like. He's gonna turn 2 in September,
Nah.
and
He's 16.
What?
He
feels
thinks
like
it's a
it.
big bug.
Shit. No, he'll like get concerned when it like gets high centered and can't move and it does its little warning beep. He'll get like worried and go look for it.
Aw.
That's
But he calls
adorable.
it by the you name your Roomba when you register it, and he calls it by its name, Daisy.
Aw.
And anytime he sees a little black disc on the ground, he's like, Daisy, is that Daisy?
That's fucking
it's the
cute.
cutest thing.
So C4 Roomba is out of the question. Then it's family now.
Oh yeah, no, not expendable.
No,
Mine has
you
always
strap
been,
a
like-
gun to that one.
Yes. Yes.
You,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see, you guys see the video of the fucking robot dog with the AK strapped to it?
Yes.
I hate it.
I hate it. I hate it
There
so
were
much.
people who
Coming to
were-
a city fucking near you.
We posted that video, and there were people who were like, "This is obviously fake." I'm like, "Do you realize we live in 2022, and this is not even the worst of it?"
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
it is so simple. Like, okay, guaranteed. Give someone $30,000 and a fucking AK, and like if they have basic robotic knowledge and some money to throw around, they could probably figure it out.
We had the guy in my state who attached a Glock to his DJI Phantom and was shooting it in the woods, and he got his pee-pee
Yeah.
slapped for that.
Aw.
Listen, guys, cops have already used robots to kill people
Actually.
in Dallas. The guy that was shooting up cops at the protest, they had him cornered, and they didn't want to like risk like going in there and getting shot, so they sent in the bomb disposal robot with a big fucking bomb on it and blew him up.
Yep. That's,
Holy shit. That's
yeah,
fucked
yeah.
up.
Yeah, people are like, oh well, when will this come to U.S. soil? When will the war on terror come home, and we'll start using Reaper drones on people? It's like, we've
It's been
already
here,
we've already
dog.
crossed that bridge. Yeah. Now it's
Yeah,
just a
we're
matter
there,
of
buddy.
making it palatable. Which
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
sell it?
yeah, and they're working on
Yeah,
it with like
exactly.
the whole spot thing in New York, going along with NYPD officers.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They during the pandemic they did it in New York City and I think Honolulu in Hawaii, where they had those what was it, Boston Dynamic spot robots going along with officers. In Hawaii, they were scanning the homeless to see if they were sick.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
And in New York, they were going along with officers on like some kind of domestic call. They were just accompanying them with not like guns or anything mounted on them, but just like recording equipment
Yep.
and stuff. It's like, okay, cool. And everyone was like, fuck that. No, because it was during the whole defund the police thing. So it's like, we are not paying for you guys to have fucking RoboCops. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
holy
What
shit.
the
Well, I
fuck?
say this on the record. This is not legal advice. If you see a Boston Dynamics dog marked NYPD, kick it to death.
Well,
But that's the thing; they make them unkickable.
It's in the
That's like the main-
advertisement.
Yeah,
Take
that's
it
like
up,
the
take
main
it home.
point.
Carry a large Faraday bag with you.
Pull the legs off like a spider. Not that I ever did that.
Oh, dude,
ever,
I am
actually.
like
No, I love
deep
spiders.
diving the Boston Dynamics dogs right now. You can buy Chinese like alpha like
Oh, I know.
2,400 fucking US dollars.
Yeah.
wait, for like a Chinese copy?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Top
wild.
speed,
Yeah.
top
That
speed
was
is
the
9
one-
miles an hour.
That was
Is
the
that
one
on
in the
Wish?
video with the AK attached to it.
Holy shit.
It was a I don't know if it was Chinese specifically, but it was like a third party vendor, and it was significantly cheaper than the Boston Dynamics ones.
Yeah,
it was
so
like
the
under
technology's
$5,000.
been around for a little while. The Boston Dynamics dog is like 74,000, I want to say.
Yep.
Which like a rich person who has a full auto AK and a private range can probably afford. But like saying that that's fake, it's just weird.
Well,
Sounds like the majority of problems surrounding all gun control. If you have enough money, it doesn't apply to you.
yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rules for thee, not for me. But you guys see, there was also like not a Boston Dynamics, but it was a similar kind of robot at, I don't know if it was SHOT Show or some kind of defense show recently, but it had like a big marksman rifle mounted on the back of it.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was being marketed towards like law enforcement and military contractors. It's fucking horrifying. It was
Yep.
talking about how far it can fucking zero a dude, and yeah, it's fucking far.
Yep, little robot dog creeps up on a roof. You're not going to see a guy walking up there. It's going to be nice and low, and it can just pop up, pop you in the face,
Wild.
and Vicky
Automated
Weeby.
robot dog sniper.
Yep. Creepy shit.
Man-made horrors beyond your comprehension.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm currently writing a guide on it's to do with like the Boston Dynamics stuff and how to at the minute those dogs are unarmored. So a bullet
Yes.
to the battery and you're sitting pretty, and like paint to the sensors and all that kind of thing. But they have so
Yeah.
many fucking sensors on them. Like it's not just a case of chuck
Oh,
a can
sure.
of paint at them. It's like you're gonna have to have a a can of spray paint and do a little bit of a job on them to
Yeah.
make them inoperable. But
I see all kinds of stuff about like the future of warfare and what it's probably going to be like in 10, 20, even now, basically. Like if God help us, I hope it doesn't, but if a civil conflict broke out, like there would have to be entire dead zones to prevent that kind of thing. You'd have to wipe out all transmission in and out of entire areas to just like everyone has a drone. Everyone can like buy a DJI Mini. Everyone can have like
Yeah.
and primarily rich people in the government, but
well, yeah, like they just started testing those suicide aerial drones in Ukraine, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like 3D printed
Those freak me out.
Yeah.
droppers and munitions. Like holy shit.
Didn't we
And
see
yeah,
this in
yeah,
Call
the-
of
the
Duty like
switchblades are
back
one
in
thing.
2007?
Yeah,
Sorry,
Sorry,
say it
Andrew.
again?
like loitering munitions and like suicide drones. They terrify the
Yeah.
fuck out of me.
We saw that in Call of Duty in like 2007, like the
we did.
swarm.
Yep, the swarm. So that's absolutely going to be a thing. They just released like a canister of, I don't know, 100 drones with a little bit of explosive on them, go to the
Yeah.
front lines and just, hit all those 18-year-old Russian conscripts.
Yeah,
You see those little like those little drones that make the pictures in the sky with the lights and stuff? I guarantee you, as soon as somebody saw that, they were like, "Let's put guns on them."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can use that to kill
100%.
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
What were you gonna say, Andrew?
Oh, I was saying it's like the switchblades and the the military developed technology is one thing, but then there's in Ukraine they're also using off the shelf drones and like they're building grenades out of beer cans
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
And
saw
putting,
one
fins on them.
yeah I saw one where they nailed the open hatch of a tank. And I don't know if the tank was abandoned or whatever, but they dropped from a drone. They dropped this little homemade improvised bomb in there, and it blew up. And then they did a little time lapse, and it I guess it hit some ammo or fuel or something, and it just burned the whole thing.
Holy
and that's
shit.
the difference. It's like how much you spent on that drone and that improvised grenade versus how much they spent on that tank and that
On the
fuel and
fucking
that
tank.
ammo.
Yeah.
And the people inside. Don't forget
Yeah.
about that. How
Yeah.
much it costs to train people, and I mean the life cost, obviously, but
Yeah.
if we're just talking about
And
monetary
in
value.
that context, I don't know if there were people inside the tank. It may have been abandoned, but you could imagine, if they, it would be a difficult thing to survive if they, if you had an open hatch and they just dropped a bomb in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Fury. I know what happens inside of a tank when you drop a grenade in it.
Piss and shit everywhere.
That was a fantastic movie, by the way.
It
Anyway,
was. I liked it.
Yeah. No, fucking was.
um,
That
so
director really does. He really gets like male relationships. The dynamics of like dudes in tough situations.
Yeah.
That's
who's
like all
the
he knows,
director
but
again?
he does understand. Ayer, David,
David Ayer.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Just dudes doing
Yeah,
stuff.
that,
Just
yeah,
like dudes doing stuff. Getting killed.
You know, it was some drunk dude who was like, "Let's buy World War tanks and rent them out in Las Vegas."
I mean,
Oh,
The
yeah.
drive tanks experience, or actually, I think it's
Isn't it?
in
That's here in
Pennsylvania
Texas.
also.
They have it
of
in
course
New
it's
Braunfels, I
Texas
think.
also. Yeah, definitely don't have it in Connecticut. I'll tell you that.
that's why I love the West.
Can you
They,
imagine Mom's Demand picketing that building?
Ah.
I'd love to see it. Just drive a tank
Same.
round front like.
Actually, ma'am,
hey.
you can buy a tank. Watch me. We speaking of which, we actually just reached out to Andrew. I was going to let you know earlier, but we just reached out to. We find ourselves, and I'm sure you guys kind of.
The suspense builds.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so curious.
I've been trying to. Andrew and I have been trying to get someone from a gun control advocacy group on the podcast.
Oh,
Um,
Oh,
interesting.
cool.
yeah,
Good luck.
because
Yeah,
I
good
know.
fucking
Well,
luck.
so me, I'm just a naive, ignorant douche apparently, and I think like everyone wants to just make the world a better place. When in reality, I think the more I email and the more the my inbox stays the same zero,
Yeah.
I think they just fucking hate us and
Oh yeah.
don't actually want to
Weird.
work with us. Like that's the irony in it that I find is that we want to end gun violence because for obviously we don't want innocent people to die, but even if you think about it for our own selfish reasons, I want to keep my fucking guns. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't it be in my best interest to lower gun violence, to end gun violence as effectively as possible? Because then
Yeah.
people can stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So obviously we want to fix it, but they have zero interest, it seems, in doing so. And I've had some really good conversations with people who are on the other side of the aisle as far as gun control goes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to find that from a gun control organization.
It's
Because even if they're not
it's just very
ideological,
yeah.
they're at least pragmatically opposed to crossing the aisle.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. It's disappointing because you kind of I kind of minimize it all to like at the end of the day we're all adults and we can have a civil conversation, but I think they're used to dealing with the screaming psychos on the right, just like we're used to dealing with the screaming psychos on the the anti-gun aisle. And
Yeah.
And it could be that, or it could be that they just made a calculation that it doesn't advance their personal goals to actually cooperate with anybody.
Yeah. I found that the thing about people who are passionate about banning guns is they know they get outdebated. They genuinely do. And very few of them are actually willing to engage in that way. At least like when you get to the level of like moms demand action and whatnot, it all comes down to like ad hominems, and I've experienced this quite a bit. And this is anecdotal. It's not fucking everyone, but like they know it's going to end with them, at least in a lot of cases, getting backed into a corner, and they'll just end up with egg on their face.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think part of it is that they think that's going to happen, which we don't have any intent to do that.
No.
I would love to just get somebody on to have a conversation to figure out where we agree and where we disagree. And then even if it's not a practical compromise, think of ways that would benefit both. I do believe that there are things that benefit both sides of the argument. I just don't think they think that it will benefit their side. And just like, I don't know. We're big on address the root causes of crime, and gun crime prevention will follow.
Yeah,
they want to ban the gun. They want to cut off. I don't know what put the cart in front of the horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that the
They
right
want to give
euphemism?
They want to give police more reasons to harass minorities. Is what they want.
Seriously, that's the
Well,
fucking wildest thing. Like when you confront them with the reality of what they're asking for, it's like you can think you're as woke as you want, Karen, but what you're really asking for is someone to brutalize someone. And guess what?
State-sponsored racism.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like the guys on the right who are buddy with the cops who you think you're going after. It's gonna be the people that you think you're trying to protect getting stopped and frisked and harassed and imprisoned for gun charges that shouldn't be gun charges at all.
Yeah.
And
They
just,
shot- They just shot a
you had a
kid.
magazine that held 11
Yeah.
rounds. Like,
No, my dudes,
Get
they
fucked.
just shot a kid in New York for playing with one of those water
bead.
BB
Yeah,
guns.
fucking bead guns.
Yeah,
and then when
the
there was
bead
an
blasters.
outcry, the bead blasters. When there was an outcry, they posted on their fucking Twitter account, like, "Hey, by the way, it's illegal to have this gun." So
yeah,
Yeah,
but by the
we might
definition
have
of
met
that,
you.
to find that gun, fucking Nerf guns are illegal. It's like, oh, well, it used a compressed air piston to propel a projectile. So do fucking Nerf guns. It's like,
it's so
I
fucking.
didn't know
it's
that's
so
what
dishonest.
spurred that on. I just saw the memo on their Twitter, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was because they fucking killed someone.
I saw the
It's
memo. I saw
literally
the
them
memo
saying
first.
that kid asked for it.
Yeah, I
that's
saw
what
the
they're saying.
God.
I saw the memos first, and then I was like, oh, they fucking murdered someone, and this is them covering their ass, not addressing it at all, being like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we fucked up by taking someone's life over a toy. They're like, hey guys, don't have these, or we'll fucking roll up on you and kill you.
yeah, we'll
Like,
kill you. We will
what?
literally murder you. Like, holy shit.
I don't even know how to process that information.
Is it really surprising, though?
No, and that's the sad part is nothing is surprising anymore.
Yeah.
We're literally like, I was watching a TikTok the other day, and everyone judge me right now because I do watch TikTok, and I'm
whatever.
sure the Chinese have all my biometric data at this point. But it is what it is. Whatever. We're living in a simulation, and none of this is real.
Fair.
And the Earth is flat. Anyway, no.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I think
Birds aren't real, but the Earth. Come on now, dude. Let's be reasonable.
obviously, Anyway, for those listening, I don't actually believe that. But, what the fuck was I saying? Oh, guy was like, isn't it weird? Just we live in a time where it's like you getting an email from your boss where it's like, hey, I need you to edit this paper and get this, and oh, by the way, police let 30 kids die, and oh yeah, sure, boss, I'll get right back to you on that. Like, I just need to stop off at home and get this, and oh, by the way, like guns are citizens now, and like it's just crazy, wild story after another, and there's no cessation from it whatsoever. It's just one insane thing after the other, and we just this is normal, and we just go on with our daily lives, and
Dude.
we're totally.
We live in hell.
Yeah.
It's a weird timeline for sure.
I saw some meme recently. We are God's children, and He left us in a hot car.
And it's weird because it's like, so, objectively, things in general, just things, are for everyone across the board, on average, getting better all the time, right? But nobody feels that way. And like all of these sort of like subjective standards that we judge our quality of life by, it's all on fire. We're living longer. We're typically safer. There is less, horrific world war for now. Just outcomes are generally better, but everybody's fucking miserable.
Perhaps I'm being very pessimistic.
I'm sorry, Nathan. I muted you while you left,
Oh, sorry.
but I didn't unmute you when you came back by.
Oh,
accident.
I was right next to the camera. I was just refilling my water. I'm in the kitchen.
You're allowed.
You've done nothing wrong, Nate.
Yeah.
No, Nathan, you're great.
Fred
Kaczynski. This is super pessimistic, and I think anyone who comes, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
I say that all the fucking time, and people think that I'm just like, God forbid, there's nuance to. Anyway, I'm sorry.
There's nuance to everything, and like I honestly think that anyone who claims they have the answers to everything should be disregarded entirely. Like it's. But that being said, yeah, there's nuance to everything. There is always a calm that precedes a storm, and all because things, like objectively, yes, we are in an unprecedented level of world peace. Like everything is fine, but the cycle of empires never lasts forever. Like we have.
That's true.
Yeah. And
I just feel like we're pulling the Band-Aid off slowly. I'm not an accelerationist by any means.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're pulling off the Band-Aid slowly, and people are literally just like clawing on to what, like the American dream, quote unquote,
Democracy, etc.
Yeah, and
yeah.
You know what it is? It's not that I don't think it's going to happen eventually. I'm just scared of I'm scared of what's going to fill the vacuum.
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
worried for people because people rich and powerful don't. It's not going to affect them. They're going to have a place to go and people to stay with and stuff like that. But it's regular people like us. And
I'll also say I don't think it's going to be a sudden collapse and then warlords fill the vacuum. I think it's going to be like what we've seen. And when we say it, what we're talking about is the end of society as we know it, right? I think it's going to be real gradual. I think it's going to be sort of like putting a crab in cold water and then turning up the heat. I think by the time we realize that we're in an absolutely untenable situation, we're going to have been in a similar situation for so long that, it feels strange to get freaked out about it.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way. It's like 10 years ago, thinking about where you are now, would you consider just modern society a dystopia? Like, would you, knowing everything that you do then, look like through a viewing lens, through whatever, just like on paper, would you view what 2022 is like as a dystopia? Because I know I sure as fuck would. Like
Yeah.
I think of-
that frog in boiling water thing, where all these little changes and little changes and little changes have stacked up to the point where it's like, no, we are living in hell. Everything is fucked, but it happened so gradually that like
Yeah.
it was, and like things have always been silly.
A little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody's commuting to work right now and it's like a Monday and they're thinking they're about to have a fantastic day, we really apologize for this. Hopefully it's Friday and you have the weekend to recover. But
Yeah.
Then hopefully it's not 115 fucking degrees outside, and your government had to hire people with water tanks to spray you down while you ride by, so you don't fucking die.
I'm not wearing pants right now. Full disclosure.
Nice.
I had pants upstairs. I'm not fully nude. I'm not like sticking to my seat kind of thing, but I was outside spreading like tick killer and stuff in my yard that I have to do every couple months, and I was gonna mow the lawn and I was like, nah, fuck this. I came inside and I was like, I haven't felt like this in a while, and I'm drinking water and everything. I was like, I need to sit down. I think I'm gonna fall. Like it was, and it's not even Texas hot up here. It's Connecticut hot. Like,
out there.
we're wimpy, like northern, like.
I feel bad for you guys
like,
in the north that you don't understand. You know, and
I don't feel bad for you when you get snow. By the way, you fucking deserve that shit.
Wow, excuse me.
I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry, Andrew.
No, it's okay.
It's
I'm
not
just
your fault. You
expressing
live in a
genuine
state
concern for you and your people, and then just getting made fun of. That's fine.
That's my social anxiety kicking and not knowing how to handle concern and like compliments.
Well,
here
we are.
Anyway,
well, I hopefully I'll have some white pills for us, because like I've never really thought about sitting in 2012 and looking at 2022 like through a window and being like, that's literal dystopia. But
yeah,
like back then we still had things like, you know, the Patriot Act. We knew we were being spied on and shit. It was it was not looking great, but it was still like back then, I think a lot of people still felt like we can fix this if we just get the right people in power. Yeah, like the good politicians.
The right president will fix it.
Yeah, we are very much on the road to where we are now. Like, this is a long, but like a lot of it is the perception too. I think like back in 2012, I didn't give a shit about any of this, and you know that doesn't necessarily mean things are better or worse now or then, but I think that a vast society now is more innately political than I think it has been through modern history. And we're seeing the consequences of that. Like, politics is downstream from culture, and every single thing we hear is so focus grouped and so tested and researched, and everything that they do, down to the color on people's ties to what they tweet, everything goes through committee. And I think people forget that. Like, humans, by and large, are very, very easy to distract and control. Total schizo rant that has nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
No. I think it is. I think it does have stuff to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, we live in a very processed culture, and I think the answer to that is for people to kind of take into account what's actually important and what's real, and it's not like just the constant bombardment of headlines and, you know, like the misery that they spray at you through your little, you know, misery rectangle and all the rest of it. You know, it's what is your actual life, because I'm sure we've all done it where we've just been busy with work, or we've been on like a trip, or we've gone camping or whatever for a few days, and you're like, I feel so much fucking better.
Yes.
And you're like, I wonder what caused that. Not reading the fucking headlines every 3 minutes, like,
my God.
we're entering a recession, police brutality, gun laws, you know, whatever it might be, food shortage.
What happens if you don't read the headlines, though? You know, what happens if you just fucking put your blinders on?
What is the worst part about being uninformed?
Well, Denzel Washington has a very good quote about this. Of all fucking people, is it better to be uninformed or misinformed? And I think that depends on the person.
I think the Amish are a hell of a lot happier than we are right now.
Oh, 100%.
Well, they have their own issues.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
But that's the thing, though. It's all about perspective, really. Like Nathan was, or like Denzel was saying, you know, is it better to be misinformed or uninformed? And I think if you maintain perspective and what is actually important, then you know the things that are important to stay informed on. But I think even more so, you know, to be critical of your sources. And I don't think many people are. I would say the majority of people, in general, are not as critical of their sources as they need to be.
They find a favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think there's anyone immune to bias, but I think
no.
people have a hard time realizing what they're doing and when they're going down a rabbit hole. And when you talk to 10 different people and they all think the same way you do, it's probably, some people find comfort in that. I would think it's time to talk to different people.
Yeah.
That's what clicked with me, and kind of even like the anarchist echo chamber is a terrifying thing. Like after a while you have to be like, guys, we need to like talk to different people and kind of, have some differences of opinion, so we're not just like, oh yeah, shit's really going our way, just because we're like viewing it through one kind of lens. It's like,
that's a cult.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I haven't
get
talked
out
to
of that.
anybody who disagreed
Everyone
with me
thinks
all
the
day.
same. Everyone's doing the same. Yeah, that's a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's dangerous as fuck, because you have no idea what you're going to talk yourself into believing, like, reality actually is, and you see it across the sphere from, like, far left to far right and everything in between and up and down. People have very different perspectives about what's going on in the world right now. If you ask, like, extremists of all different flavors, what is the big thing that they are working towards, whoever the fuck they are, whether it's government or a group of people that they hate for whatever reason, the capitalists, the communists, whatever it might be, they all have like a different perspective of what their primary concern is. It's like, okay, well, when we gather all of that, how much of that is, crazy bullshit that we're just inventing to kind of answer the uncertainty we're facing right now? And a lot of the time it's kind of, it turns out to be some form of fairy tale, or just the same story wrapped in a different cloak, and people are kind of getting pulled away from what is actually important, like stability and how their life's going, food security, safety, and things like that. They're focusing on distractions, really, because they're being force fed it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think something that's kind of important to take into perspective is everyone thinks that they are righteous, and not everyone. I mean, there are people out there who's like, yeah, fuck the other guy. Like, I genuinely like making people miserable, but most people view the world through the veil that their opinion is the correct one, and they are righteous for having it. It like doesn't even matter how shitty your opinion is. And I think a lot of people forget that. And obviously, shitty opinion is still a shitty opinion. It doesn't really matter, like, how righteous or great or whatever you think it is. But it makes it a lot harder to make people view things objectively.
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of the thing is, you a lot of people don't realize that they have this inherent bias, and when they people get defensive instead of inquisitive when they're given conflicting information, and a lot of it is just because we as humans, like, we're soft and squishy, and we prefer comfort over discomfort, and information that goes against what we believe is uncomfortable. And
I mean, like, literally uncomfortable.
Literally, yeah.
Fucking scientists have found out that cognitive dissonance causes actual discomfort. That is like, you can
Physical and
rate
tangible.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to intentionally derail this conversation because I feel like we have a very good. I feel like we're the kind of people that we can all just talk about anything forever. And
Yeah. World's not ending yet. Go back to
I think
what you were
overall
doing.
we're doing okay, but it's be aware of things around you. We had there's one thing, and this is so weird. It's like I'm the king of awkward transitions, and this is one of them.
Oh, dude, fucking send it.
It's getting sent.
Segue complete.
Yes. So I've been following you guys for a while on my private page, and then A Better Way 2A was made, and started following you guys on there. And I remember a long time ago. So for those who don't know, CBRN Art you guys have gone through crazy transformations, like as far as the content of the page, the stuff you've written about. Like I remember when you were making like and you still do sometimes, but like mainly, like meme posts of like making fun of caricatures of people, and some of them were like based on real people, and some of them were made up people.
Yeah.
Like FUDs and whatever.
Yeah. And now you guys, you still do that, which is awesome. That was like my favorite thing.
Thank you.
And the fact that you made fun of everybody, I was like, this is like if South Park kind of came out now.
Yeah.
but in the form of Fallout characters. But and now you guys have these crazy informative guides, which are awesome,
you.
which I try to share as often as I can.
That's kind
I
of been... Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
That's kind of been the shift of focus. I won't lie, like people misinterpreting both our beliefs and our intentions kind of bothers the shit out of me. So you can't really misinterpret a guide. You can't really misinterpret like here's how to take a corner or like here's how to use light in a low light situation. And the humor was starting to degrade on me. I'd like to like go back and revisit characters again. But another thing is like people had a really hard time conflating. It's like, all right, we have this positive or negative character, and then immediately they'd be like, this is how you feel because like you've associated with like this,
Yeah.
or you don't like this. I remember one time, a while ago, we did this. It was a dumb meme. I ended up actually taking it down, but it was just like a woman with a cheap AR and a guy with like a Gucci AR and nods and. Like the guy's grouping was terrible, the girl's grouping was good, and it like the moral of the thing was like, hey, it doesn't matter how good your kid is if you don't fucking go shoot. But people interpreted that, and there's so many people saying like, oh, we just hate good gear. We just like we hate anyone with money. It's like, where the fuck are you getting this? And that's like one example of many, 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 many.
The one that always comes to mind for us is when you make fun of all these conservative stereotypes with no pushback, and then you post you make fun you do a little caricature of an Antifa guy with a black hoodie one time.
Oh
you're a fucking crypto fascist now.
Oh my god, I heard that one. Yeah, it's like, oh, forgive me for like not knowing or like using something that's visually identifiable. Like we don't really have Antifa up here, and I don't know or care or give a shit. Like the whole like fighting people in the street thing is so fucking played out, and I don't have opinions. Sorry, BR, looked like you were about to say something.
Oh no, I was just like, we had this conversation like a little bit before we recorded, but Nathan, were you familiar with the term crypto fascist? Because I wasn't.
I wasn't.
Having done the anarchist thing for years, yeah.
Like I learned what a crypto fascist. Yeah. Sorry, go for it, Andrew.
I was just saying, like, I think it's a real thing, but it's like the way it's one of those things. It's like I think the word crypto fascist means what it means on its face, right?
Yeah.
A fascist that is trying not to appear as a fascist.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like, you gets thrown around so much that it's like every time I hear it, I fucking roll my eyes. I'm like,
yeah, it's like the term Nazi.
It's like, oh wow, you hate authority? Wow, you're a crypto fascist. It's like you can't hate authority and like the idea of like centralized authority and be a fascist. The two are diametrically fucking opposed.
Yeah,
and like think what you want about the rest of my beliefs. Some of them may be right, some of them may be wrong. The whole thing about beliefs is they're fucking subjective. I'm not going to get into it because I always feel like that's a distraction. It's like the left and the right paradigms I've always found are like made very much to keep people fighting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the whole idea, it's like, oh, well, you made fun of me. Oh, you made fun of this group that I believe in. Therefore, you are a fascist. Like disregarding all of the belief. It's just fucking lazy.
Everyone that I don't agree with is literally Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah.
What cracked me up is that like not too long before that, like probably within a week or two, you made the Blue Line Bobby comic, which was one of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah, it's like we made fun
making
of
fun of cops, and nobody had any. It's not like cops were coming out of the woodwork and being like, "Oh, you're a fucking scumbag," and saying
if they knew how to read, they would have.
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
Well, and it's funny because I actually shared that on my personal page, and a friend of mine. So I have a friend of mine who's a cop, and for reference, he wasn't a cop when I became friends with him, but he's a great guy and not like it's tough. This is why I have a hard time going full ACAB, because like I know people who are cops who are not shitty people. Sure, they're engaging in a shitty system, but like at face level, and I've heard from people that he works with how he handles himself, and it's like, wow, he's actually a good person who happens to be a cop. But he's only been one for a couple of years, and I posted the Blue Line Bobby meme, and his wife actually reached out to me and was like, "Is this what you think of him?" And I was like, "Okay." He would have laughed at this. Like, this wasn't meant for you. This was meant for me, and you just happened to stumble across it. But
Yeah.
So
But
your
yes.
mistake is not understanding that being the wife of a cop is the hardest job of all.
Oh my god.
She said, holding her two black eyes. No.
40%.
Kidding. I'm sure he's part of the
40%,
60%.
Google 40% of cops.
He's probably a 60%er. It's all right.
But my point is that you guys posted, you guys made one about FUDs, you guys made one about like gun hoarders, about people, just a whole bunch of different groups of people, and you didn't seem to get any real pushback from it until the Antifa one, like Andrew was saying. And I heard specifically, on our page, just because we're a more left-leaning gun page, and there were a lot of people who like, I would share something from you guys and I'd get a flood of messages saying like, oh, these guys are crypto fascists, and I never even knew what that word was, and I was like, I don't. And I used to like, I'd be like, Nathan does some of our artwork. He's definitely not. Like, I've had conversations with him before. He's I promise you, he's not. And it's how do you guys? What do you say to people who are still propagating stuff like that? Like, there are people who things like that say things like that, and take it way more personally than it should be.
Nothing. I could give a shit about their opinion, frankly. Honestly, if you're that like intellectually lazy that you take being made fun of in one way, I'm not going to give you fucking attention. I don't give a shit. Like, what do I say to those people? Nothing. Nothing I can say can change their mind. I'm just going to ignore it because they're stupid.
What was that scene from Mad Men where he was like,
I don't think about you at all.
I don't think about you at all.
Straight up. It's like, oh, well, you think that way? That's cute. That's fine. It's like people on the right, have called us fucking commies. People on the left will call us crypto. It's like, well, if you're taking that out of this, nothing I can do or say will change your mind. And frankly, I don't give a shit because you suck. Well, it's.
I'll speak for Mitch on in the smallest way. I mean, anyone who's kept up with his journey, like, he was initially coming on, the E-Militia podcast and my show to talk with anarchists and stuff, like, way back when, about preparedness and kind of preparedness for the individual. And then beyond that, the guy is like an anti-war Taoist. Like, he is all about...
He practices what he fucking preaches. He is, like, pacifist to the fucking bone.
Yeah, man's he's becoming like full-fledged hippie, and he's been wanting to be that way, his last little stint in the army. So
yeah,
anyone who would say something like that really doesn't understand the person that Mitch is and kind of what he stands for and why he talks about the guides and knowledge that he does. So
yeah.
Which, for anybody who doesn't understand, being a pacifist is not compatible with being any kind of fascist.
You can't be the boot on someone's face when you're against any form of violence as a solution.
Yes. And, like, between the three of us, like, the little CBRN team, like, we all have different opinions about a lot of things, and we all still respect each other, and we're all still friends. Like, it's not...
Is that wild?
Right?
Can you imagine that?
Unbelievable. No, I'm pretty sure Mitch is a crypto fascist.
Yeah. He's the one. I got an inkling now.
I got an inkling. It's coming from somewhere.
The one that's not here to defend himself is who he is.
Well, I mean, the guy has a Jewish wife, as he's said before. It's like, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah. But I got a message the other day from, like, a close friend of mine being like, hey, I looked at your page and you're only making fun of Democrats. Why is that? I'm like, it's their fucking power. This is like, who cares?
Yeah.
We made fun of, like, right stuff all the time. You're singling in on this.
But that's interesting because we make fun of Democrats all the time, and nobody calls us out for it.
Dude, leftists love that shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, we fucking hate Democrats. Like, but because some people perceive you as being on the right for whatever reason, then it becomes like, oh, you're not poking fun at the same team anymore. You're across the aisle.
Well, have you ever read the book? And I've brought this up before multiple times.
I'm gonna say no right away.
The True Believer by Eric Hoffer.
He only reads traffic signs.
Andrew knows I don't read, but yes, continue.
It's a really interesting book that, it's a sociological study that mostly covers, like, Germany in the early 1930s and the clashes between the communists and the fascists. Do you know where can you guess where each of those sides' biggest recruiting pool was?
No, tell me.
Where?
Each other.
Hey.
Even though that, yeah, because despite the fact that the views were diametrically opposed to each other, that didn't matter. What mattered was a sense of belonging. What mattered was, like, you have your boys, you got your club, you got your people, and like.
Well, also, have you heard the term horseshoe theory?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, that is super
it do be
fucking
like
real.
that.
Yeah. But
Could you explain it real quick, Andrew, for those who don't know?
Oh, it's just like you get far enough left or far enough right, or I guess in a specific way. Anyways, the difference between like extreme communists and extreme fascists tend to be very, very minimal and very academic. And in practice, these people are not very different, don't behave very differently.
Hell no.
Like, it's not a line, it's a circle.
Yeah,
kind of.
when you start talking to a tanky or like an ethnonat or a, ethno-fascist or whatever, you're like, you guys are like a few
like you almost agree.
Yeah,
like, it's almost the
sides
same
have said
thing.
they'll put me up against the fucking wall.
Yeah. The only
Which, like,
the only
stack up.
difference is, the only difference is the tankies will do it somewhat inclusively. Like, we're not shooting you because of the color of your skin. We're doing it because of your beliefs. Oh,
Your political views.
okay. That's much better than the guys who want to kill me because I'm, a race mixer or whatever it might be. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like, I remember, once I entertained a conversation with someone who's like far right. And, I was very civil because I genuinely just, like, wanted to have a discussion and see where he sat. And, it was all sorts of crazy shit, but like, by the very end, he's just like, I respect you because you're Asian, but I would never want you race mixing with a white woman. I'm like, what the
God.
Yeah,
Like,
it always comes back
Damn,
to that.
dude.
Like, it
Cold-blooded.
it was fucking weird, and it.
Yeah.
No,
That's the thing
and it's
that-
funny because like those people. Just as an aside, this isn't going anywhere. But just like the way that they'll behave in personal interactions like that, they'll kind of forget about their system of prejudice that they're supposed to be upholding, and then at the end they kind of like reboot and they're like, oh wait, I gotta say something racist. That's always been my experience with people like that. Is they can seem very normal, and then it's like every now and then they're like, wait, hold on a minute, white power.
Yeah. My primary identity, gotta say something abhorrent every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think all of it goes back to we have this very like Marvel, like the movies, Marvel, like Infinity War, all of that view of the world, and I think like people are somewhat born with it. I don't know if it's cultural, I don't know if anything, but like everyone has to have Star Wars. You got good versus evil, you got like light versus darkness, and everyone views themselves as, when I say everyone's kind of the royal everyone, doesn't really mean everyone, but most people need to view things within that binary. It's like righteousness versus evil, things like
man, that's
that.
the collective myth. That's the hero's journey, bud.
Yeah, and like reality is so much
Everyone is
more
the
nuanced.
main character.
Yeah.
Yeah, truth. That's why they are stories. We tell these stories and they're all the same. But you can't act like real life is like the stories.
Yeah. It's like, fucking Beto O'Rourke is going to come down on like a golden nimbus and save us all. Like, it doesn't work that way.
He's such a piece of shit.
Fuck that
He's the
guy.
He's the
sixth
fucking
horseman of
worst.
the apocalypse.
He's
Yeah,
not the
fifth.
worst. He's not the worst. He's not the worst. He's
But
bad,
hey,
and I
now
don't
we
like
said
him,
something about a
but-
Democrat. We have to say something bad about a Republican too.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I know.
Dan
that tree should have
Crenshaw
killed
sucks ass.
Abbott.
I was going to say Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, Dan Crenshaw. Fuck
Yeah,
that
he's
guy.
a fucking
Fucking
douche.
dollar store solid snake.
Oh my god.
Dollar store John
So
McCain as well.
Wait. Do you remember when Pete Davidson made fun of his eye patch and then he got mad and somebody made Pete Davidson have Crenshaw
Yes.
On SNL, right?
On
SNL to apologize in front of everybody with him there.
Wait, he actually apologized though?
Yeah, he was like, I shouldn't have done that, but in like a jokey way. But it was very clear based on like the body language that this was somewhat of a confrontational kind of thing.
So someone's off screen pointing a gun, like, say it.
Yeah,
say it,
exactly.
Pete.
Like,
say it.
fuck
You
Say
made
it,
an ableist joke.
Read the line.
You-
Lick the boot, Pete. Lick the boot.
Oh my fuck.
And like I'm all about being sensitive to disadvantaged people, but
Yeah.
Crenshaw
Unless
is
they're
not
Dan
a disadvantaged person.
Yeah, unless they're
Well,
a
he's not-
politician, because politicians aren't people.
All right, you know.
Did Andrew just cough himself out of the conversation?
Oh,
Oh.
fuck. Yeah, you killed Andrew.
Andrew, what'd you do? Did you?
Oh, there you go.
That shit was so good that you made my browser restart. Unbelievable.
Hey everyone, this is an ad for our Patreon, so if you don't feel like listening to it, feel free to fast forward about a minute. But if you like what we do and want to support us, then listen in. Don't you wish every commercial came with that little blurb? So if you're new to the neighborhood, Patreon is a website that allows us to funnel our desire to make this podcast into a shameless cash grab. Kidding. But really, it's just a way for you guys to show us that you support us, that you like what we're doing, you like what we're about, you want us to do more, expand, do bigger and better things like take over Tesla and SpaceX and kidnap Elon Musk. Whatever. The details don't matter. But in return for your support, we have multiple tiers available with some sweet perks ranging from stickers to discount codes to shirts and a lot of other things that are exclusive only to our Patreon. Your contributions will help us offset some of the costs of running this podcast, as well as keeping me fully stocked with spiked coffee beverages for those late night recording sessions and fueling Andrew's unhealthy thirst for revenge against Whoopi's shoes. He's building a mech robot in his garage. It's a little weird. I think he's planning to do something strange with it. But anyway, if any of this tickles your fancy, then please go to the link in our Instagram bio or patreon.com/abetterway2a to check it out. Or don't, but it would be cooler if you did. Anyway, back to the show. Enjoy.
Yes. No, there's this this shirt that I really wanted. Just like, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. And I'm just going to like wear that to Kroger, I guess.
I like that. I like that a lot. I wanted to get a yard sign that said it had a picture of a German Shepherd on it, and it said, "Beware, this dog refuses to take its medication and has a gun." But she wouldn't let me do it.
I love that.
I love all of those parody like yard signs now that you see, like all of the "in this house we believe," and sometimes it'll be like "fuck the ATF" or something.
The ATF
like,
is a terrorist organization.
yeah.
Love is love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't like being noticed by regular people as much as I'm like out there.
Oh yeah.
But I was really tempted up during the last election to just put like a black sign or like fly a black flag on my fucking.
Oh,
People
once I have
don't
some
even know what it is though. For the most part, they think it's like a pirate thing.
Oh my god, you see the thing about when conservatives, like, I think it was a little bit after the election, they started flying black American flags, and they're like,
Yes.
"This means that I'm going to war," or
Yes.
whatever. It's like,
What?
Nice pride flag, dude.
Dude,
Yeah,
you're
please don't
70
take
and
this
you
from
ride
us.
a rascal around Walmart. Fuck off.
So speaking of people who have different views and us trying to all get along and get and appreciate nuance and
Kumbaya.
stuff. This is actually a like a listener question we ask every now and then, and we've been doing this more often. Do you think there is a line to walk where somebody's benefit to the gun community is no longer worth
The
their,
baggage
like,
that they bring.
the baggage that they bring, and what is that line, do you think?
So the actual question.
This person's asking is, why do you have a hard on for Lucas
why do they have
Botkin?
hard on for Lucas Botkin? Which I don't think is fair. I don't think that's
we
a fair
bring in
question.
a lot of fucking people from
Yes,
fucking everywhere.
yes.
It's like, and
You've had
anyone
a
who's
ton
been
of
on the
different people
podcast
on.
can come back. Yeah, it's like, and he does bring a lot of good to the gun community. But I think the important thing is you should be able to recognize someone what they bring versus their opinions. And they're like, everyone's a product of their culture, everyone's a product of their upbringing, and you have to view it within that lens. I truly think that you can be a good person, have shitty opinions, and I would actually be curious to have him on here to kind of, because going in, I didn't really have a lot of expectations, but it turned out he was a lot less like authoritarian than a lot of people give him credit for. He's very much, of the mind, doesn't matter if I disagree with you, doesn't matter if I, it's one thing if it's like rules for thee and not for me, and it was very much rules for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think we are all adults. We should be able to filter our interactions through the lens that, like, you can have an opinion that does not agree with mine, and we can be diametrically opposed in this one particular thing. And while I may disagree with you wholeheartedly on some key issues, I respect you as a person, and you may or may not like bring good to the world otherwise. And honestly, like, while Lucas and I may differ on some really serious things, and people are going to give me shit for this, I guess I'm a crypto fascist. You know, like,
Yeah, you're already a crypto fascist. You might as well go for it.
yeah, but that's kind of the whole thing. Inclusiveness. And if someone doesn't want to strip those, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, he thinks like, oh, like, we should be put up against a wall. We should so and so. And like, when we asked him quite clearly, that was not the case. He wants rights for self-defense, rights to train, rights for everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And while he, you know, may be homophobic in,
Kind of casual commentary on the stuff,
yes,
or like also the religious like views, but he's still he's not. I think the line for me personally, because you know I've got friends who are you know like drag queens and stuff, and obviously all over the rainbow flag and stuff. So like hearing some comments like that. Sorry to steal the mic.
No. By all means, please.
I'm gonna let you talk in a minute, but no. But like because it's something I've been thinking about, kind of being in the third chair back, watching these episodes, and I'm like, you know, is there a point where we would shut someone down? And I think Mitch and yourself have done a pretty good job of when someone like starts having an unreasonable opinion, there's like a, hey, why do you believe that? But it's more like a, okay, so that's his personal opinion because of his, you know, religion and personal beliefs and stuff. But he's not kind of continuing it to the point of like, you know, the boot on your neck kind of thing. And I
like
think
calling
that's,
for violence against somebody or something like that.
yeah, or like
or
kind
policies
of
that
putting
Well,
them down.
he's not directly calling for violence, right? But and this is my pet peeve about a lot of the way these
Yeah, thanks for
religious
going into this,
conservatives. What?
No, I'm sorry. Thinking out loud. I said thanks for going into this. This is kind of where.
No, you're good. This is my pet peeve with a lot of religious conservatives, of the way they approach the subject of LGBT, you know, well, gender sexual minorities, I think is the new term, but it's this constant conflation of gay people or you know non-straight people with people who commit sex crimes.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
who also may happen to be, you know, on whatever, you know, gender sexual minority spectrum. And so it's like, and this is something that Lucas does that bothers me, is every time he'll purposefully post this like controversial opinion about like trans people specifically, but also like gay people, and then he'll get a whole bunch of pushback, and he'll be like, well, I don't know why you guys aren't talking about pedophiles instead of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, well, because you fucking, like, you brought it up, bud. Like, what? You know, and so he's always trying to, like, guide the conversation into that zone. And that's not a direct call for violence, but it does sometimes, you know, as we've seen, especially lately, it does sometimes excuse harassment and sometimes violence against gay people who have not committed sex crimes, because most of them don't.
No, that's fair, and that is a trend I've seen happening on Twitter. It's like fucking rammed with it right now. Is kind of trying to force the conversation to like, what about pedophiles? Like, all right, we need to really define what the fuck we're. Because the conflation is kind of a dangerous thing when you start painting.
Because
with a
nobody
broad
likes
brush.
pedophiles.
Yeah, no one likes pedophiles. Well,
when
what's
these-
the name for the logical fallacy argument that entire argument is? I think it's straw man.
Yeah.
No, well, because the argument that I hear all the time is, well, then why is none of the LGBTQ community calling out pedophiles? Why the who
what
the
does that
fuck are
even
you
mean?
talking to? Like, the majority
That's
of
like-
pedophiles are straight people. Does every single straight person have to publicly denounce pedophiles for everyone to get on board with the fact that pedophiles are fucking shit people? Like, there's no spokesperson for gay people. There's no spokesperson for trans
there's a
people.
union.
Like,
There's a committee. Everyone gets together in Tennessee and like, sorry, what's that? San Francisco. You know, once a year, and you know they vote on the new.
What's the name of that
spokesperson.
little city on the bay?
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to San Francisco once, and I just remember someone being very mean to me when I asked for an energy drink at a store. That's my only.
That's San
That's your
Francisco.
takeaway.
That's the way it is there.
Oh fuck.
But
That's kind of like what Andrew was saying is you know, like he I think there's a big difference between outwardly calling for violence against a group of people, and then some people would say that and this is a matter of opinion, some people would say that supporting policies that can be enforced to be violent against groups of people, like there are, regardless of how you feel about it, like there are people who think that, like an abortion is violence against a baby. And there are some people that think that denying a woman's right to choose her medical care is violence against the woman. Like however you fall on that spectrum, and so by doing so, by conflating the LGBTQ community with pedophiles, you're not explicitly saying, we should lynch these people. But when you say we should lynch pedophiles, and you've spent the last X amount of times talking about and conflating the two, it leads the conversation down that road.
For sure. And I also want to be clear. We're not asking you guys to apologize for.
No.
I wasn't going to.
I'm not on social media enough to actually have seen any of this, so I'm getting it all verbatim, and my brain is processing it as we talk. Like
we're. I don't. And no, to be fair, I don't think he ever said anything about lynching. I'm just saying like that. Yeah. That
it's an unfair comparison, and I find it also like. And I will come out and say, like, I like the guy. I think he's got some opinions that I don't agree with, but I like almost everyone we've had, regardless of what side of the spectrum.
Yeah. Perfect
and
example.
I find it hard to dislike people.
Yeah. Well, and I think that says a lot about who you are as a person. That fact that you get along with people and.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I recognize the fact that we can have differing opinions, even like diametrically differing opinions. But the one thing that mattered, and the one thing that we did ask him, it's like, hey, can every community be armed? Can every community, including LGBT, defend themselves? And then we got a further clarification in the second episode where he talked about how, like, the act of violence is something he doesn't want. In fact, he wants to genocide-proof certain communities and America in the fact that everyone has, the ability to defend themselves against, people who wish them harm, regardless of who those people be the state, be it, someone intent on causing them harm, be it otherwise. And I haven't seen what you're talking about, and I would feel unfair giving a opinion on it simply because this is the first time I've heard anything about it, and people on the internet are so reactionary. Like I've been misquoted a ton, I'm sure, as you two know.
Never.
All I can get is what I have asked him to his face over a computer, but whatever.
Yeah, and that's worth something, right? A direct answer.
That says a lot. If you and this is why I think Andrew would agree. We are there are obviously. This is why I could never call myself a socialist, even though I am left leaning, because at the end of the day, individual liberties are what guarantee your safety. And
yes.
If you are for the individual right for somebody to arm themselves and arm their community, then it really doesn't matter what shitty beliefs you have, because you're not going to be able to take their rights away by doing so. And obviously, it's more complicated than that. Through legislation and things like nobody's going and shooting up the Supreme Court because they overturned Roe v. Wade, obviously, but
Yet.
Not that you should do any of that, but like we are proponents of having conversations with people we disagree with.
Yes, 100%. I think
which
you guys
is why
should
we want to have. We could talk about that at a time. I don't know if he even knows who we are, to be honest.
Yeah.
But perfect example. Like, we're trying to get people in anti-gun organizations on the show. Like, we want to have conversations with people who have different opinions than us, and we want to ask them why. Yeah. And there's not enough of that. And it reminds me of just my own anecdote. I have a friend of mine who I'm still in touch with. We used to be coworkers together. Born again Christian, very religious dude. We've had extremely deep conversations about personal topics, and I remember, he's been more than open about going down the rabbit hole of religion and things like that before. And, we've had the conversation, like, I'll say, hey, what if I spend my entire life helping the homeless and promoting good doing to people and donating to charity and housing unhoused people. Do I still go to hell at the end of the day? And he says, yeah, if you don't accept my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then yeah, sure, and you deserve to. And but he's like, that doesn't mean I don't like you as a person and I won't be your friend. And I'm like, okay, well, as somebody who doesn't believe in any of that, that means nothing to me, so that's cool. But that, perfect example is he doesn't, he votes kind of middle of the road. We don't have any like Christian fascist presidential candidate right now. But and then this is
Give it
the
10 years.
this is
Yeah,
the
give it next election, mate.
Nah.
yeah, maybe. But this is the dilemma that I always have because I'm 100% pro free speech all the time. And because I think the detriment to restricting free speech is worse than allowing bad people to speak.
Yes. Also, you're
And-
putting that power in the hands of the fucking state,
The state.
who have a history of... Everyone fucking remembers the weapons of mass destruction. Everyone remembers
Yeah.
Iran-Contra and everything. Sorry, go
yeah.
on.
But so we're at a point now where access to information is crazy, and at some point, these organizations like you saw in Texas, Andrew, not you personally, but we just had the John Brown Gun Club on from Texas, and they were marching with women's rights supporters the other day, and they were talking about how they ran into in one of Texas's notorious gay neighborhoods these Christian fascists who were trying to storm into their bars and their clubs and hurt people, and they get that way by recruiting people through speech and things like that, and I don't know where the line is to say like, okay, this speech is now going down the line of dangerous, even though it's not overtly calling for people to get hurt. It's doing things like conflating gay people with pedophiles, and over and over and over again, and to the point where people think that kind of stuff. And I don't know where that line is, and it's something that I've always struggled with trying to find out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I don't know where that is, but
Yeah.
I
I
think you guys.
a very non-nuanced view on this. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say I think overall like people talk shit, but I think you guys do a good job with who you have on,
Thank
and the questioning that you do, and I don't think there's anything wrong personally with being amicable with people that you disagree with. But I was just we were wondering that was a viewer question, but I was thinking about that myself because obviously you guys had him on a second time, and
Riding
you guys
Vulcan's
are-
dick.
No. Oh my god. It's when it comes to speech, I'm like all the nuance and everything thoughts go out the window. I don't want anyone restricting any fucking shitty opinion, regardless of the fallout.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh well, danger is freedom or peaceful slavery. Like I do agree with that, but like I find it overquoted. I think the idea of consolidating that sort of power to deem what is correct information versus what is incorrect information is such a dangerous precedent that despite
sure.
you can
Yeah.
have, but like look over the last 10, 20, 50 years, so and so everyone knows like Operation Mockingbird if you don't look it up, Operation Northwoods if you don't look it up, Operation Sea Spray if you don't look it up, all these like the Finders Papers, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Most of these are actually on government websites because they've been FOIA'd to hell and back. It's like, do you trust these people? Do you fucking trust the people in authority to be able to say, like, no, this is correct, this is incorrect, this is correct, this is incorrect? The people calling for it, too, forget that politics changes. It's a pendulum. It swings back and forth.
Absolutely.
Like, however far it goes on the left, it will come back to the right, and you have already given them those powers. There's no absolute thing where it's like, all right, you have on one side, we have decided, like, this is misinformation. We're going to charge the person who did it. This cannot be published. We're scrubbing it from the internet. This cannot go anywhere. And then it goes to the people you don't want to be in power, and they have that same fucking power. And that is something that it just
Not cash money.
It's not cash money.
It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, it's super frustrating. And like, is there going to
Pretty
be
soon you're
bad
burning
fallout
books.
from misinformation and everything else? Yes, but again, we are all adults. Like, some people are more adult than others. Not to get all Animal Farm, but the idea that we are not to be trusted with our own information, we have to give it to Big Daddy government to like pick and choose and do whatever while they're in the middle of like 90% civilian fatality rate drone strikes somewhere else that like we'll never hear about.
Locking up journalists forever.
Yeah, locking up journalists, prosecuting people for political crime, etc. It's like, no, I do not trust they could be people who agree with me on everything, and I have never met someone who agrees with me on everything. They could be someone who identifies with me like 100%, and they say, we will reinforce your views and make sure only people can have the access to the information that supports our viewpoint. And I would say, fuck no. And then I would...
Oh my god.
That's a joke. This is satire.
Yes.
This is just for legal reasons.
Yes.
Well, on top of that,
but really though,
yeah, like you want your authoritarians to raise their hand and be like, over here, and you want access to information to know what that looks like, rather than securing us from all the nasty things in the world, and like that's never gonna happen. We want to be able to identify real threats, both when they start ideologically and as they manifest into something more real, but.
And it's not like having the government lock down certain forms of hateful speech or misinformative speech really stops people from recruiting.
It makes it way more dangerous.
It makes it more appealing.
Yeah.
It's
Think
like,
about when your
look at
parents tell you
Germany
not
right
to
now.
say
It is
fuck.
illegal to use Nazi iconography. It is illegal to post about it. It is illegal, and they have a huge
And they are
fucking
lousy
problem.
with
They
Nazis.
are, there's so fucking many. They just had to disband, well, not just, this was like a year ago, they had to disband the KSK, the fucking German special forces, because of a Nazi problem. Like,
Oh my fucking god.
Jesus.
yeah.
I
no,
knew those Krauts were up to something.
Yeah, censorship doesn't fucking work. Like,
No.
He can say that. He's British.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
Yes.
They're basically my people. We're Germans too.
yeah.
Nathan's Canadian. He's not far off. But he's not like a real
Fuck the
Canadian. He's
Commonwealth.
more like one of us.
Yes,
Yeah.
fuck the Commonwealth indeed. And
Yeah.
fuck the EU.
Yeah.
Had to get it out.
But that's
Okay, guys,
that's you gotta go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
dip time.
interrupt.
You're
Yeah,
dying.
let's do 3 or 4 minutes of some hard questions, because I don't want to seem like I'm fucking dodging anything. I said I got a dip.
No,
like
I know you
40
would.
minutes
sure, for sure.
I'm just terrible at asking them, to be
No,
honest,
no,
because
no,
I'm
no,
like,
let's just get right into it.
in my head, I'm like,
Uh,
Nathan's
yeah,
a good
let's-
guy, guys. Like, come on.
No, he's not. We're not.
Be
yeah,
nice to
we're not-
Nathan.
We're
Yeah,
not
no,
being
I'm not.
mean.
The people asking these questions don't even know my fucking name. They don't know who I am. Like,
No, and they're generally well-meaning people
now they
also,
know.
but
of course.
it is like a perspective and everything.
yeah.
So somebody else asks, what's up with the fat shaming and hosting chuds who shame queer and trans people? So,
So that's,
I mean,
that's a double question. That second part
I
was
feel
about.
we
like
just
we
talked
already-
about that, but
Yeah, we just talked about that, and also like the whole. I'm going to sound like a bad person here. I don't care about fat shaming. I just don't. It's
I'll
like,
back you up.
Yeah, no, I just don't. If you want me to care about it, I'm
think-
just not going to. Think I'm a bad person if you want to. I feel like
It's like
you know,
I
it
think
has done a net positive, and if you don't agree with that, I just don't care.
the big thing is it's and you guys have talked about this for the record, and like kind of it hasn't just been like straight up fat shaming. There has been an explanation, and the explanation from my memory and kind of as we've talked about it as a group is it's not like direct hate, like because even Nathan said it. It's a mindset. It's like if you're lazy and not looking after yourself and then expect to be praised for that, I think that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And that's where that ends for me, is like not looking after yourself is a bad standard to set, kind of, in general. I think we want long, healthy lives, and also like as you guys have called it, the kind of fat people industrial complex. It sounds like a joke, but like
But it's not. It's very much made.
No.
Like it is a profit generating machine. And
Yeah.
like yes, do I acknowledge people who are like that for health reasons? Absolutely. But at the same time, like look at the community we're in, look at the things that are happening. It is, and we have literally hundreds, I am not joking, hundreds of messages that are like, this is a wake up call. Thank you. Like these are my time. Like I can like independently, and this might sound like bullshit, but I don't give a shit, verify that so many, every Q&A, every day we get messages of just people who are
I
like,
see those.
thank you. And what, like we don't, we share like 100th of them. And while like we may offend people and people maybe also we stopped someone from having a coronary at 30. Maybe also like we got someone operationally fit for what's coming. And I don't want to like do things by net benefit or not, but also like if you can't get our shock humor, go fuck off. I don't care. Like it also runs to this. It's like, are we afraid of offending people? No, not really. It's like, do you go watch South Park? Do you go like? I'm not going to filter my speech through the comfort of others. I don't give a shit. If you're offended, don't fucking listen.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and I think that there's a big difference too between saying things that might offend people and like
Yeah.
being mean to specific fat people.
Yeah, no, straight up.
Like,
Like tons of bigger people message us and they're working on it. It's like, fuck yeah, okay, you're taking care of your health. That's wonderful. I've been bigger. It's like,
well, you know, and I also think too that it's like, so I've kind of gotten it from both sides because I'm not, you know, I believe in body positivity. I don't like fat shaming, all of that, you know, yada, yada, yada. But then also, you know, to turn it around, I've got some opinions that body positive people find a little bit problematic too.
yeah,
And you know, I think that there's definitely a line to walk.
yeah,
And I think that I think that the main thing that body positive people who are like intellectually honest are really getting at is that people who are fat and struggling to be thin, or people who are fat and who have accepted that they are fat are not like shitty people because they're
Yeah.
fat. And that's, I mean,
100%.
I feel like everybody, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
But then there's people that are like, you know, if you ever say to me that being skinny is possible, that's violence. You know, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, okay.
And that's kind of, I think, what developed me to have the opinions that I have, because like I used to be a lot more conscious about not offending anyone, but the bar kept on getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to the point where it's like I just don't care anymore. I'm going to South Park affected. Like, this is who I am. This is really, like, coming out the gate. I'll let you know my real opinions, but I'm not going to like censor anyone. I'm not going to censor myself, and I'm going to have everyone able to say whatever the fuck they want. It's all or nothing. And like pretending to be conscious of like people's feelings, it's like no, in the end of the day, I don't care. I care more about whether it pushed someone to do a good thing than whether I hurt someone's feelings, and a lot of people are going to hate that. And you know, I don't want to sound like, oh, like teenage fucking edgy edgelord, whatever, but like I don't want to filter everything that I have through making everyone comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. That's. You mean nobody wants to feel like. I think that we do all, you know, want to have a good effect on people. You know, when we talk, when we express our opinions, I don't think anybody. Well, I should say, I don't think most people are like, I hope a fat person kills themselves when I say this.
yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, and that's an important thing. It's nuance, and like this idea that like having X, Y, Z opinion just makes you a shitty person right off the gate. That can get fucked. Like it's there will always be a line. There will always be someone to get upset, and words should not carry as much power as they do. That's the. Sorry, go on.
No, I think we could all agree with that one. And that's kind of like what Andrew was saying is how I feel that I'm pro body positivity. Like I think if you are the way you are, you shouldn't be made to feel like shit for it, especially if you're trying to get better.
Yeah.
But like,
And
you know, to me,
even
it
if you
comes down
don't,
to,
even if you're just like, this is how
even
I
if you're
am,
just okay and you accept
you know,
it, yeah.
whatever.
To me, I'm live and let live. I like that is my main mantra. My like line in the sand is where like the health at any size thought. Like I don't think saying that is
markedly
wrong.
False.
Yes, but that I don't believe is saying. I don't believe that's fat shaming. I think saying like you're fat and you're disgusting is fat shaming.
Well, okay, so I have some experience with this as a fat guy, having been to a doctor. There's a lot of times you'll go to a doctor and you'll have a real problem, and they'll be like, "Did you try losing weight?"
Yes.
I'm like, you know, and it's like
not
something
that
like
fucking
completely
easy.
unrelated.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
why don't you try
also-
losing weight and then I'll treat your fucking broken leg or something? You know what I mean?
That's also has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, like doctors take women's complaints less seriously
Oh
than
yeah,
men,
yeah, and
statistically
especially
speaking.
fat women, and especially fat black women.
Yes,
But
yes, absolutely.
so that's where you get this movement, this health at any size movement. I think it's possible to be compassionate and say, like, obviously, I think that we can all agree that all other things being equal, if you are fatter, it will put more stress on your body and your organs and shit like that. But I think that a lot of people have these really weird experiences going to the doctor sometimes, with doctors that are just not up on modern medicine, or have some fucking hang up about fat people, and they don't get the care they need because of some sort of like fat phobia on the doctor's part.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
But that's not. But I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with. It's like, I think that sometimes people will conflate that kind of real problem with something like people saying, hey, here's some tips on how to lose weight. Stop eating cereal or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people think that they're seeing fat shaming when,
When there's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we very humorously pushed a point. I'm not going to say that it is something that works for everyone, but it worked for some people. And I don't like viewing things through metrics. It's again like the South Park shock humor kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. Some people, like I think my dad, and I'm one of those people. I find it very, 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 very difficult to lose weight and stay in shape. And following like a regular diet and regular exercise, I balloon. It's awful. There's a lot of people who have it a hell of a lot worse than I do. It's similarly to everything else. It's a nuanced thing.
Yeah. There's that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good N word.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you don't like that?
Goddamn. First time.
It's the good one.
All right.
It's the one you can say.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Okay,
around certain people.
one last one, maybe. I'm
all
sorry,
right,
guys.
all
We're
right.
coming up in 50 minutes. We are at 50 minutes since I said I had to go, so.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't
there's no
wanna-
more hard questions. One of them is OMG, OMG, OMG. Another one is how to prepare for right-wing militias coming into your areas and harassing you.
Guns and small unit tactics and sustainability.
Yep. Yeah, fucking absolutely.
Easy.
Know
Easy
your
question.
community, no small unit tactics. Like, no, and I think a really important thing that we don't touch on enough, and I want to get into it more, is de-escalation. That's the big
Yes,
thing. It's
thank
like
you.
once there's
Yes.
yeah, and like
Yes,
I'm
Queen.
glad that I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but I think it is more important than like shooting him away at 100. I think it's more important than a lot of fucking things like having the coolest chest rig, whatever. Know how to de-escalate conflicts, because if you're shooting each other in the street, it's just a fucking waste. It's a waste. And like I'm not as much of a pacifist as Mitch. I would not really identify with that label as much. But I don't like
peaceful,
violence.
not harmless is my thing.
Yeah, no one should want violence.
I hear that.
And
No,
like
absolutely.
I make all these edgy jokes and whatnot, but that's what they are. It's peaceful, not harmless. Be prepared to defend yourself, but also like try, please fucking try your hardest not to die or make the other die for fucking nothing.
Well, how many videos do you see? Like, dude, like 4 of them came out in this last fucking week of guys just arguing and then shooting the shit out of each other
Yeah.
with
It's-
multiple fatalities. Like
Yeah.
that is it's absolutely
It's
insane
a
to me.
fucking
And
waste. It's sad. It's
de-escalation. There's a
De-escalation.
reason people are professionals at it. Like it is a skill, but that's not to say that there isn't a spectrum, and that practicing de-escalation on your argumentative dad isn't a good habit to get into. You're not always going to be in a hostage scenario, but knowing the proper techniques and a little bit of psychology goes a long way.
100%. And I'm a true believer if you go seeking violence, you will find violence. It's so important. There's a lot of good resources online for it.
Yeah, if you're like seeing the kind of rise in right-wing militias and you're like, God, we gotta get prepared to put these guys in the ground, you're probably gonna end up in a gunfight. But if you're like, we need to, get our equipment sorted, get our training sorted, get our communication and sustainability
Appear
sorted.
to be a hard target.
Yeah, 100%.
Peaceful, not
Like,
harmless.
don't have some dangling Amazon Molly vest with no plates in it. Like, look like you're a hard target. Give
Yeah.
off that vibe that your community is protected, you know?
Yeah.
Like, show
And it's
up.
the weirdest thing, you know,
Yep.
when someone comes up looking for an easy target to bully and push around, and they find an organized community defense organization with good gear, they might fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wants
And
to
isn't
die.
that a better outcome?
Well, I mean, some people do, but
Yeah,
generally,
some- yeah.
people as a whole.
Says Fred Kaczynski. Full circle.
Yeah.
It came back.
Any
Well, that
others? Okay, last because that was very.
Okay, just one more. And I
That was a
promise we
good
didn't
one.
make
I'm
him
like
say this.
reeling on my feet. Water fasting. It's one of those other
God.
fucking
Sounds
stupid things
miserable.
I have to do. Yeah, no, it's fucking miserable.
Are
Last
you,
meal I
are
had
you,
was what?
Are you water fasting but drinking a rain right now?
Yes, 0 calories.
Dude, that's good shit.
Hmm.
It's just it's
I
just
can
vitamin.
feel
It's
the
keeping me
tremors
in this
through the
conversation.
camera.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not your
It's
doctor.
just
Yeah, no, this is my.
no, it makes sense.
second
It makes sense.
today.
It's just vitamins and caffeine and water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I take an
Wild.
Adderall in the morning and then drink a large cup of coffee afterwards. I feel like
Man,
I'm on fucking fire.
I am
Yeah,
on
in a
different
bad
drugs
way.
to you people.
For like for like a few hours and then.
No, I'm like
Okay, so
sorry.
we did not make him say this, but Mike EA817 wants to know when we're getting a better way to a exclusive targets. I don't know who he's asking. Is he asking us? Is he asking?
Well, fun
Uh,
fact.
does he want?
Actually, it's funny. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say fun fact. The targets that we have on our website were illustrated by Nathan.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the
So
the
they
reindeer
already
one,
exist. I think there's like
the
3.
Nazi one, and the KKK one. They
Yeah.
they are from Nathan.
Yes.
Based, illustrated by a crypto fascist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Certain irony of that.
So these are great targets to take to your local outdoor range and scare the fuds with.
Yes.
They're one of our my fault, but they are actually one of our strikes. One of our 3 strikes we got from Etsy when we were selling stuff. I had it available as a
fucking
download for free. I wasn't even selling them. And yeah, they were like they took it off and said I was promoting violence. I'm like, thank you. These fucking Brooklyn
against a
liberals are
caricature
pissed
of like
off
a
about having
1940s German soldier. All right.
and a dude in a fucking white hood. Like it's
Yeah.
With yeah.
Okay, guys.
I bought a patch from Etsy with like a hung Klansman, so that doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah, no, it's like
yeah.
Because the violence
that's
is already
the thing
done.
about like the moderators. Everyone's got a different fucking. Okay, guys, I got it.
Okay.
Nathan, thank
Sorry.
you.
know what?
I see
Get outta
your
here.
I see
Yes,
you trying. Your social anxiety is like reaming right now, and I feel that like
Mine? Yeah.
no, like trying to leave a conversation and like not being able to get a word
Politely.
in.
No, it's totally okay. I'm getting better about it now, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. This is very good. We'll hopefully do one again at some
We had
point.
a ton of fun,
Oh,
man.
yeah, man.
and
Very
we
cool
would
meeting.
love to have you on again.
And,
I'm sure we'll get way more spicy questions from people, and I don't know. We'll figure out some spicy ones too. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we'll do a Nate and BR react to audience reacts to Nate and BR.
No, I'm sure all the crypto fascist fucking accusations are going to come out again after this. I could give a shit, honestly. But yeah,
Listen, you're
VR
either a crypto fascist or live long enough to see yourself become one by Instagram standards.
All right, I'll see you guys.
See you, Nathan.
See you, man.
Bye.
Well, I'm around if you want to chat, or if you want to wrap it up, I'm easy.
We could do anything.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Oh wait,
a
was
minute.
this thing fully uploaded? That might have been a problem. Actually, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. We can fix it later.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Fix it in post.
Yeah. We can. That would actually be perfect timing for me because I have to leave in like 15 minutes, and that would actually give me. Normally,
let's
I
get
go
a
right
live
up to the
pro tip.
bar and I'm fucking running, and my wife is like carrying our
Yeah.
baby around with shit all over the place, and she's like,
like
"You
literal
told me,"
shit.
and I'm like, "I know."
All right, so let's wrap this up with. All right, so Nathan is gone. It's just you, BR. I want to know, unrelated necessarily to anything that we've talked about today. Do you have
Or it could
any
be.
small, or it could be any small tip just to improve people's quality of life? Just some little hack or little advice or something that you've discovered that you just think everybody's got to know.
Dude, we belong outside.
Yeah.
I believe this so much, and a lot of people might say like, "Oh, I hate the outdoors." Give it a chance, you know.
Yeah,
like,
give it a chance, man.
Good lord, how much better. I'm a country boy, so I grew up in the woods, and I moved to the city since I've been in the US, and my god, tremendous decline in mental health.
Oh yeah.
The
What do you say
outdoor
to
and-
people?
Huh?
Do you you live in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Are you close to the desert? Where can you get out there?
Oh yeah. I can get out to the desert, and I can also head up north and enjoy some more woodland. So I try and do that
Yeah.
as much as I can, and that's what I found is best for me.
What do you say to people like me who have the complexion of printer paper?
Sunscreen.
You're talking to a Brit, yeah.
Sunscreen, dude.
Oh man, dude, I
You're
was
talking to a Brit in the desert.
yeah. You should see the get up I have to be outside in my grass. It is not comfortable.
Holy
Dude,
fuck!
you need
All
to,
right, I'm
you
not
need to
that bad.
develop some. You need to develop some melanin, bud. You need to
I've
expose
been
yourself
trying.
the
I've
sun
been
and
trying
get
to
a
like
tan.
punish my bloodline by getting burnt
You
repeatedly,
can't.
and
Well, but that's no.
like-
See, that's your problem. You
Yeah.
can't get burned repeatedly. You need to put sunscreen on
I
and
do.
expose your body to the sun in a controlled way,
well, I
so that you
started
get a
that.
tan and not a
more.
burn.
Have you heard that thing about what is it? Getting a tan on your junk, and it's like good for you, apparently.
What?
I wouldn't.
I would
like
not
you-
try
I would
that.
not expose you guys to sun at all if I could.
No, yours might burn off, but
Yeah.
no, this is completely unfounded by any kind of science. I read this in passing somewhere about
No, I've
about
seen-
getting a suntan on your junk to like. It's like it's one of those like Sigma male bullshit things.
This
like
is gonna turn into-
supercharge your testosterone by
Holy
tanning your
shit.
balls.
This is
dude,
gonna turn
don't.
into like
No.
that South Park episode where they started eating through their ass because they said it was healthier.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Do not take that as medical advice. That's just something I have observed. But do get outside because that shit is real.
Yeah, it is good for you for sure.
Oh, and build a community. Like I'm sure you've had a billion guests. Probably Yellow Peril Tactical probably came on and said it. But you need a community of good, skilled people to, you know,
yeah.
cross
Everybody
pollinate
wants
skills.
to be a fucking apocalypse warlord by themselves.
Not gonna happen.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna work
Nope.
that way.
It's not
You need
real.
to
You
loot
need to get
drop.
together with need to get together with your buddies and wear your best bondage gear. That's how you survive this thing.
Specifically that.
Mental
Specifically.
warfare.
Bondage gear and football pads, and skilled people.
Yes. That's important. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
I hope that was of some use. Someone probably listening like I didn't write down any of that. That's useless. But
No, it's good. That's good advice. And I
perfect.
think that the I always say viewers, it's listeners. The listeners at home.
Well, because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
viewing.
They're gonna love it.
yeah.
Well, thank you, man, so much for coming on. This was a ton of fun. I can't even talk. I'm reading the chat right now. Andrew and I were like, this episode is going to be lit in the chat, and I'm like,
That's
yeah,
a
it's
verbatim
fucking great.
quote.
Yeah. Super pumped you were able to come on, man. Really appreciate it, and thank you for your candor and everything that you guys provided. And we would love to have you guys on again at some point.
Of course, love to come back. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Cheers. You guys too.